A rough board worth $50 can become a table worth $5,000. Same wood, same material, massive price difference. The strange part is that the biggest factor is not the tools, the wood species, or even the finish. So what is it? First, let's talk about the material itself. Because wood has rules, and if you ignore them, wood will humble you fast. Wood is alive. Yes, even after the tree is cut. A lot of people hear that and think it sounds dramatic, but it is true. Wood still moves. It still reacts to temperature, air, and moisture. That board sitting in your garage may look calm and harmless, nice and dry, straight enough, ready to build with. But do not trust appearances too quickly. Wood is patient. It expands when humidity rises. It shrinks when the air gets dry. That movement never fully stops. Not after 1 year. Not after 5 years. That is why cheap furniture cracks. That is why cabinet doors stop closing properly. That is why a table that looked perfect in winter suddenly has gaps in summer. Wood has moods. Some days it behaves beautifully. Other days, it acts stubbornly for no obvious reason. Kind of like a man trying to fix something after insisting he does not need the manual. This is why master woodworkers respect the material. They do not fight wood. They work with it. They understand its habits. Then there is species, and this matters more than most beginners realize. Not all wood is equal. Oak is strong, durable, and dependable. Excellent for tables, flooring, and furniture that needs real strength. Walnut is a favorite for premium furniture because of its deep, dark color and beautiful grain. It looks expensive because it usually is. Maple is hard and dense, great for workbenches, butcher blocks, and surfaces that take abuse. Cherry is special because it gets richer and darker with age, which makes older pieces look even better. Then there is softwood. Pine gets criticized a lot, sometimes unfairly. It is affordable, easy to work with, and excellent for beginners. But every wood has limits. Build a heavy dining table from weak lumber, and gravity will eventually win. Gravity always wins. Furniture starts with choosing the right species, and that leads to the real question. How do master woodworkers know which boards are worth buying and which ones should stay at the lumber yard? That is where experience starts showing. A beginner walks into a lumber yard and sees boards, rows and rows of boards, some light, some dark, some expensive, some cheap. To them, wood is wood. A master woodworker sees something completely different. They see potential problems before the wood even leaves the rack. That tiny crack near the end of the board? Problem. That slight twist running through the length? Problem. That moisture level hidden inside the wood? That can become a very expensive problem. Master woodworkers do not shop by price alone. Cheap wood is not always a bargain, and expensive wood is not always good. They inspect everything carefully, because one bad board can ruin an entire project. The first thing they usually check is grain. Straight grain is often a good sign because it usually means the board will be more stable and easier to work with. Wild grain can look absolutely beautiful, especially on premium furniture, but it often comes with movement and unpredictability. Beautiful grain can sometimes behave like a stubborn mule. Looks great from a distance, causes headaches up close. Then there is moisture, and this matters far more than most people realize. Fresh cut wood can hold over 50% moisture. Furniture-grade lumber usually needs to be somewhere around 6 to 8%. That is a massive difference. If wood is too wet, the furniture may look perfect today. Nice joints, smooth finish, everything looks great. But wait 6 months. Now the wood dries more, it shrinks, cracks appear, boards warp, gaps open. I once saw a stunning dining table split almost right down the middle. At delivery, it looked flawless. A few months later, it looked like the table had gone through a messy divorce. The cause was simple. The wood was not dry enough. That is why professionals use moisture meters. Not guesswork, not luck, facts. Kiln-dried wood is usually more stable because the drying process is controlled. Air-dried wood can also be excellent, and many woodworkers love it for certain projects. But regardless of method, moisture needs to be right. Then comes defects, knots, cracks, bowing, cupping, twisting. Some defects add character. Too much character, and your project turns into therapy. Master woodworkers understand one simple truth. You cannot build precision from chaos. Even the best wood rarely comes ready to use, and that leads to the next step where rough lumber becomes truly workable. Most raw lumber is ugly, really ugly. Rough surfaces, uneven edges, warped faces, splinters everywhere. To a beginner, it can look like a complete mess. They see twisted boards and start wondering if they bought firewood by mistake. Pros look at the same boards and smile. Because this is normal. Raw lumber is not supposed to look pretty. At this stage, beauty does not matter. Accuracy does. The goal now is simple. Turn rough lumber into boards that are flat, straight, square, and ready for joinery. This process is called milling, and it is one of the most important steps in woodworking. Usually, the process starts by flattening one face of the board. That gives you your first reliable reference surface. Then, one edge gets squared. After that, the opposite face is planed until both faces are flat and parallel. Finally, the board is cut to final width. Simple in theory, critical in practice. If your boards are not flat, everything that comes after becomes harder. Your joints will not fit correctly. Glue-ups become frustrating. Gaps appear where they should not. Even worse, sometimes the final project just feels wrong. You look at it and something seems off, but you cannot immediately explain why. That is usually where the problem started. Precision begins here. This is exactly why jointers and planers matter so much. A jointer creates one flat reference surface. A planer makes the opposite face parallel to it. Then, the table saw cleans up the width and gives you consistent edges. Every accurate cut after this depends on those reference surfaces. You are taking chaos and turning it into order. And here's the funny part. This step is boring to most people. Nobody gets excited watching boards get flattened. People love final reveals. They love glossy finishes and beautiful furniture. Very few people get excited about a perfectly milled board. They should, because this is where quality is born. Skipping proper milling is like building a house on crooked concrete. You can keep working, but every step becomes a battle. At some point, all those small mistakes stack up and demand payment. But even perfectly milled wood is still just prepared material. It is clean, straight, and accurate, but it is not furniture yet. The next step changes everything. This is where craftsmanship becomes visible. This is where woodworkers earn real respect. Joinery. This is the stage where separate pieces of wood stop being just boards and start becoming furniture. The way those pieces connect determines strength, durability, and quality. In many ways, joinery is the backbone of everything. Cheap furniture often relies heavily on screws, staples, nails, and shortcuts. That works for a while. At first, everything feels fine, solid enough, stable enough. Then one day, the chair starts wobbling. The table develops a shake. A cabinet door stops lining up properly. Eventually, somebody says, "This thing used to be sturdier." That is usually the warning sign. Great furniture is built differently. It uses strong joints designed to last. Real joints, dovetails, mortise and tenon, dowels, box joints, lap joints. Each one has a purpose, and each one solves a specific problem. Dovetails are famous for drawers because they lock together in a way that resists pulling apart. They are strong, practical, and beautiful. Mortise and tenon is one of the true kings of joinery. It has been used for centuries and is still trusted today in fine furniture. That tells you something important. Good ideas survive. Bad ones disappear faster than free donuts in an office break room. Joinery matters because wood moves. This is the part beginners often miss. A good joint creates strength while still respecting natural wood movement. That balance is critical. Wood is not steel. You cannot force it into submission forever. Eventually, wood wins. I have seen people drive screws into everything and proudly call it craftsmanship. Listen, screws are useful, very useful, but screws alone do not automatically mean quality. Sometimes the strongest thing in the project is misplaced confidence. Master woodworkers obsess over fit, not too loose, not too tight, just right. A perfect joint feels incredibly satisfying. It slides together with control and precision, no hammer abuse, no panic, no angry muttering, no sudden expansion of vocabulary. This step often decides whether furniture lasts 3 years or 30. But here is the thing. Even perfect joinery can still look disappointing if the surface feels rough and unfinished. Strength alone does not create premium furniture. The next step is the one many beginners rush through, and this is where expensive furniture starts looking expensive. I mentioned earlier that one cheap step separates average furniture from premium furniture. This is it, sanding. It is not flashy, it is not exciting. Nobody brags to their friends about spending 3 hours sanding, but this simple step makes a massive difference. Most beginners hate sanding. They rush through it because they want to get to the fun part. They skip grits, they get impatient. Then they apply finish and suddenly wonder why everything looks terrible. The answer is usually simple. Bad sanding. Sanding reveals discipline more than almost any other step in woodworking. It shows who is patient and who just wants to be done. Most sanding starts around 80 grit. That removes rough spots, milling marks, and tool scratches. Then you move to 120, then 180. Sometimes 220, depending on the project and finish. Each grit has one job. Remove the scratches left by the previous grit. That sounds simple, but this is where people make mistakes. They jump from 80 straight to 220 because they want to save time. Bad idea. Those deeper scratches do not disappear. They hide. Then the finish goes on. And suddenly every flaw shows up at once, like bad decisions coming back to visit at a family reunion. Wood tells the truth. Always. Here is something important. Good sanding is not about speed. It is about consistency. Same pressure, same movement, same attention across the entire surface. Every section matters. Even the areas nobody thinks to check. Edges matter too. This is another common beginner mistake. People oversand edges and accidentally soften clean, sharp lines. It seems minor, but visually it changes everything. Small mistake, big impact. Then there is dust control. Dust left on the surface can ruin an otherwise perfect finish. Simple as that. Experienced woodworkers trust more than just their eyes. They trust touch. Run your hand across the surface. Close your eyes if needed. You can often feel flaws before you see them. That is real experience. A properly sanded piece feels different, smooth, clean, ready. And now comes the transformation everyone loves, the step where wood goes from nice to stunning, but one wrong move here can undo everything. This is the magic moment, the moment every woodworker looks forward to. Finish changes everything. The grain pops, color deepens, contrast becomes stronger, character comes alive. It almost feels like the wood wakes up and finally shows you what it was hiding the whole time. And yes, this part is deeply satisfying. A plain-looking board can suddenly look rich, warm, and premium after the right finish goes on. That transformation never gets old. I do not care how many projects you build, that first coat still feels satisfying every single time. Different finishes do different jobs. Oil finishes soak into the wood and enhance natural beauty. They are great when you want warmth, depth, and a more natural feel. Walnut with oil on it can look absolutely stunning. Stain changes color. It is useful when you want a specific look or need to match other furniture. Polyurethane adds strong protection and durability. That makes it great for dining tables, desks, and surfaces that take daily abuse. Wax adds softness and gives a nice feel to the touch, though it offers less protection. There is no single best finish, only the right finish for the project. A dining table needs durability because it deals with spills, scratches, heat, and daily use. A decorative shelf may not need heavy protection at all. In that case, beauty might matter more than toughness. This is where many people make a costly mistake. They treat finish like a magic trick. They think it will hide bad woodworking. That never works. Finish does not hide mistakes. It highlights them. Every scratch, every dent, every sanding swirl, every uneven surface. Everything becomes more visible. Woodworking is honest work. Very honest, sometimes painfully honest. I once watched someone apply finish way too thick. It looked like they were frosting a birthday cake. The result was exactly what you would expect. Sticky surface, uneven sheen, total disaster. Thin coats win. Patience wins. Drying time matters too. Rushing finish is like pulling bread out of the oven halfway through baking. It may look promising at first, but give it time, and disappointment shows up. Master woodworkers respect finishing because they understand something important. This final layer does more than improve appearance. It protects all the work underneath. And now we reach the part everyone waits for, the transformation. The moment raw material becomes something truly valuable. Here is what people often miss. Expensive furniture is not expensive simply because the wood costs a lot. Yes, premium wood can be expensive, but that is rarely the real reason behind the final price. What makes fine furniture expensive is skill, judgment, patience, experience. Raw lumber might cost $200, sometimes less. Yet the finished piece can sell for $2,000, $5,000, even $10,000. Why? Because the customer is not paying for wood alone. They are paying for craftsmanship. They are paying for durability. They are paying for years of experience built into every single decision. Every cut matters. Every joint matters. Every surface matters. Every finishing choice matters. That is the real difference between handmade furniture and mass-produced furniture. Mass production is built for speed, faster cuts, faster assembly, faster delivery. Everything is optimized to move quickly. Handmade furniture works differently. It is built with intention. Every step has purpose. And people can feel that difference immediately. Even if they know nothing about woodworking, even if they have never heard of joinery, even if they have no idea how wood movement works, they still recognize quality. A solid table feels different the moment you touch it. A well-built chair feels different when you sit in it. Good furniture has quiet confidence, no squeaks, no wobble. No strange noises that make you wonder if today is the day it finally gives up. Just strength. It reminds me of that one older guy everyone knows, the one who can fix anything with 3 tools, 0 instructions, and a calm look that says he has seen worse. Meanwhile, younger guys are searching online for tutorials while holding the broken part upside down. We all know someone like that. And here is the interesting part. Master woodworkers are not chasing perfection. They are chasing excellence. That may sound similar, but it is not the same. Wood is natural. It always carries personality. Tiny variations in grain, small color shifts, small imperfections. That is part of what makes real wood beautiful. Machines can produce identical furniture all day long, perfect copies, same cuts, same dimensions, same finish. Craftsmanship leaves character. That is what makes handmade furniture special. It carries the touch of human skill. It reflects patience, judgment, and respect for the material. That is why truly great furniture feels alive. Not perfect, not sterile, alive. And that is exactly what turns raw wood into something valuable. Master woodworkers turn raw wood into expensive furniture by mastering 5 things. Choosing good wood, milling it properly, building strong joinery, sanding with patience, finishing with care, simple to understand, hard to master. That is woodworking. Wood teaches patience fast. Ignore the fundamentals and it punishes you. Respect them and it rewards you for decades. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more practical wood knowledge.